Good afternoon, traders. This is Christian from Market Trade Group, and this is your end of day market recap for Tuesday, July 23rd. And we've got obviously some earnings that are hitting the tape. Here are what some of the names that are looking like that are out after the close. Let me just refresh this because sometimes Bloomberg likes to do a little bit of a stale move here. But we've got a couple nice movers. Look at look at FTAI is up again. That's been my name, and it is in the TTG trend portfolio. I was just talking about this with Benzinga earlier with Joel from Benzinga. He does a closing print at 3:30 on YouTube. That's the name of his podcast or production that he has. And I was talking about FTAI. It's been one of the better names out there in aerospace. And, I know that this is a kind of a small thematic area of the market, but it's been doing really well. So we can kind of look at some of these charts. We could talk about Tesla, but that's been an area that's been super strong. We could talk a little bit about GE too, which I did buy. I actually substituted this because I didn't want the earnings risk. I did hold a swing trade in FTAI going into today, and I knew that they reported earnings after the close, and I didn't want the earnings risk. So I basically substituted out of FTAI and into GE.
I'm basically looking for this to continue higher. I really like this consolidation that we've had over the last 3 or 4 months. We've had maybe a false breakdown in here. We took out that downside VPOC and regrouped pretty nicely, and that's a move out of here. So I didn't add to it. I mentioned that when I took a target earlier today, I mentioned that I would add back to it. I didn't add back to it for now, but I like what's going on there, and you can see it's a little bit off, and I just kind of left that in my back pocket to do that at another time, maybe even tomorrow to add back. Here's FTAI, and look at it go. That might be out to new highs. Right. So again, I know that many are not concerned with these names. They want to know about Tesla and Google. So I'll go to those names. But Google, you have to remember with these earnings reports, I always encounter this with newer traders, is that they look at the earnings and they say, what's going on here? They look at the earnings and like, oh, I see a beat. They beat on earnings. So that means the stock should be higher. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It really depends on what the street numbers are. It's all about the expectations. And it's all about what they say on their earnings call about future growth. It's not so much about what they executed in the last quarter, right? That's in the history that's behind us. It's going to be about their guidance, and if they're really positive about their guidance and what they say on the earnings call. That's how it works. And if you don't believe me, right, we could talk about what Tesla did last time on earnings, right? And Tesla missed on earnings, right? But it doesn't matter so much because people are excited about. So by the way, watch this level before I go to Tesla. But watch this 183.88. This is just short-term resistance. That's the top of the value order for the week. And then Tesla, again, the earnings, of course they are. I don't want to discount it and say that they don't matter. They do matter. But once Elon gets on the earnings call, people are going to want to know what he's developing, because that is going to generate the future income, right? And so you could see, I didn't play either one of these names for earnings, Google or Tesla, because I just thought it was going to be too hard for Google. And Tesla, I thought would be a buy the dip opportunity because I thought the initial reaction would be lower. I didn't do anything crazy with it. It did go lower, went down to 235, which you can see the support back in here. Right, this is the sell-off on the when the robo-taxi was going to be delayed, right? Is that what it is? The robo-taxi that they're calling it. But we've held that support. What I would like to see is a move back above 247, but you could still kind of trade and pick around here, and maybe put your stop at the low in here. Right, so that's the two big names, right? And I actually have both of those in the TTG trend portfolio as well. That's longer term trend following. ENPH is up, even though they missed on earnings. There's a lot of bad news that's priced into some of these stocks. Texas Instruments and Seagate. Seagate's up 7.3%. So we can look at a couple of these names. This is probably one of your best.
STX, ooh, VPOC takeout, right in there. So that's helping Western Digital, which is also seeing a fall
where that's from. We'll wait. Whoa, it's from a long time ago. Going back now over a year, and it's actually not letting me go back any further to that. But maybe I'll find that on the daily chart. That's around 113. And sure enough, it should be right in here on the 1 hour chart. Yeah, there it is. Right, that's where that VPOC is from. That's from quite a ways ago. So very nice move there by Seagate STX. Manhattan Associates is up decently too. Again, just a couple names. I haven't traded this name, and I don't know how I can't remember the last time I've traded this one, but there you go. That's your biggest mover, I think, so far. Did it give it?
It did.
Other names, Texas Instruments doing well at 4%. So I'm not going to go through every one of these names, but I just wanted to highlight a couple of them. We already talked about GE from earnings. Looks like Weatherford is down on earnings. They missed. Sirius is down. I think that name rallied in the intraday. That's a pump and dump type name. Spotify, PNR. Had good earnings for today. MMYT was up 8% today. That's a really strong move there. We've been talking about that name really showing some strength in the travel space, right? And here's what the daily chart looks like. That's a new high in this name. So, a lot of names going on the earnings gap list. Every quarter we put together an earnings gap list, and earnings gap and earnings strength list. And I think we've got 5 or 6 names on, and I need to add a couple names, MMYT. So why is that so important? And I think that's kind of good to go over as we're getting some of these earnings reports come out now, because a lot of the names that beat earnings like this, they'll continue to run. Why is that? Some of the names will continue to run is because institutions are not, they will be assessing their earnings, and they'll say, hey, I'm not in this name, and I'm going to have to buy it up here. And that's why a lot of times we see names run after earnings reports. Sometimes it's just the beginning of a move. Now, I wouldn't
exactly with this MMYT.
Run into the report a bit, not crazy, but you will find that, and we put that list together because. Oh, did I lose audio here? Let's just make sure. 1 second.